Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Today's video is going to be a bit of a different one. It's actually going to be me picking my 26-man England Euros squad. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to have a starting 11, and you'll see that in a second on the first screen, and we'll talk through the players that I've picked for the starting 11, a bit of justification as to why. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I want to try and keep this quite short and have maybe one or two line explanation for why I've picked each player, and then if you disagree or agree, then you can comment below and we'll chat about it and I'll reply in the comments. So like I say, first one's going to be a starting 11, and then we're going to flick to the next picture and it's going to be a squad list as well. So put quite a lot of effort and time into this on Photoshop, trying to make it look nice. So if you could drop a like on this video or subscribe, that'd be really great and I'd really appreciate that. So let's get into the first screen then. So as you can see here, we've got a starting 11 and we're playing a 3-4-3 formation. Now, some people, when I've seen on YouTube, I saw Spencer Owen, James Alcott, a couple of others have done 4 at the back. I want to do a bit of a mixture of the two types of video because on one hand, you can pick the squad that you think Gareth Southgate will pick and the team that you think Gareth Southgate will pick. Or two, you can pick the squad that you think you would play. I'm going to do a little bit of a mixture at the back. I'm going to go for a 3 at the back, as you can see. But I'll talk you through why I've done that. So as you see, Pickford in goal, first one. Contentious decision. There was a time earlier this year that I was saying I definitely want Nick Pope to go in goal and I'd much rather have him in goal. I'd feel safer with him in goal. Then he played for England in that game and I can't remember who it was, but it was in the last international break. But he's one of those where when he plays for Burnley, he doesn't have to do anything with his feet, and so his saves always look very good and he always looks like he's a very good goalkeeper. And he is as a shot stopper. But when the ball was played to him, honestly, it looked like he'd never kicked a ball before. And that was seriously worrying for me. So I actually wouldn't start Pope. I would start Pickford just because of his distribution, really. And he has pulled off for England some absolutely class saves. I remember one against Colombia in the World Cup where he tipped one over the bar from a long shot. And I think it was from James Rodriguez, who's now his teammate. But yeah, that's why I'm going to go for Pickford in goal. Kyle Walker, I've picked as right centre-back, and the reason he's been included in the squad as a whole, easy one, he's obviously excellent, playing for the Man City, the title winners. He can play right back and right centre-back, and he's absolutely rapid, so that's why he's in there. Harry Maguire, very comfortable on the ball. Sometimes he makes charging runs into the midfield. Kyle Walker and John Stones can sit in and become a 2 and protect him. He's good at heading the ball, and obviously, as you can see from the World Cup, he is good at heading off corners and stuff, and he's a threat in that way. So that's why I've gone for Harry Maguire. John Stones has had an absolutely fantastic season for Manchester City. Some would argue that he's had that season because he's been protected by Ruben Dias and Aymeric Laporte, but he in himself still has to play very well to actually achieve that. So that's why I've gone for John Stones, really. I think he's very good and he'll be good on that left-hand side of defence. This is another contentious one. Right wing-back, I've gone for Reece James. So a lot of people, namely Scousers, would say you need Trent Alexander-Arnold in there. He's got to start. And he has picked up his form of late. But one thing about Reece James, for a whole of him being included in the squad, was the way that he played in the FA Cup final. Now, as I mentioned in that video, if you want to go and check that out a few weeks ago, or last week or whenever it was, Reece James played as a right centre-back, much like I said that Kyle Walker can. And his job in that game was to basically stop Jamie Vardy's runs in behind, and he was absolutely excellent. Jamie Vardy didn't really have a sniff in that game. So Reece James is a very good player. That's why I've picked him for the squad. Why I've picked him for the team is because although his delivery is not quite as good as Trent Alexander-Arnold, his delivery to me is still absolutely excellent, and as proven by the point I've just made before that, he's actually a very good defender as well. So I think that, for me, gives him the edge over Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think how bad Trent Alexander-Arnold is at defending is exaggerated, but I think he isn't as proficient at defending as Reece James, so that's why I've gone for that. Left wing back, for this season, it's a no-brainer, and I'm a Leeds fan. Obviously, anyone who's subscribed will know that this is a Leeds channel, but Luke Shaw has to be in there, and I know he's a scummer, and I know he plays for Manchester United, but he has to be in there for the season he's had. His key passes into the box has been up there with the best midfielders in the Premier League this season, let alone the best defenders. Him going forward and defensively as well, he's actually improved a lot, so it has to be Luke Shaw in there. Now, I know this is the thing that you probably would have thought when you first saw this screen. What are you doing playing two holding midfielders in there? The thing is with this, if you've watched Leeds and West Ham, you'll know that Declan Rice likes to make storming runs through the midfield and try and break the lines and try and almost bypass man marking. And you'll know that Calvin Phillips likes to play brilliant forward passes. If you saw the one that we spoke about last week with the reaction to the Burnley game, where he hit one on the volley after Dallas chested it down to him, he just whacked it out to the wing and Harrison took it down and we scored from it. So I think it's a one goal, one stay situation where Calvin can spray the passes. I don't think Declan Rice is as good at passing as Calvin Phillips, but I think Declan Rice has a better dribbling capability than him. So I think those two would actually work well together with a bit of coaching in there. This one's probably one of the most contentious ones, and I think people will be annoyed about it maybe, but if you feel like you want to say anything about that, comment below and I'll have a chat with you about it. Up front now, these three up front. Now, I really considered on the left Grealish and Rashford, but the goal that Foden scored against Brighton the other day, he's a mercurial talent. He's absolutely class, and to be honest, I would be happy if Grealish, Foden or Rashford started there. They're all that good, really. So I just went for Foden based from that goal and his recent form and how much he looks like he might light up the Euros. This might be his breakout tournament. Up front, no-brainer. Captain of the team, Harry Kane, he has to be up there. Not only for his goal contribution, but actually for his assists this season as well. His passing is very underrated. He's very actually good at getting assists, getting players into positions beyond him and dropping deep and getting the ball. So that's why it's got to be Harry Kane up front. There's no choice about that. Mason Mount on the right-hand side. He's an absolutely fantastic season this year. It's been his breakout season. And I think, really, Sancho's had an on and off year, I think. I think he's had a time where he dropped out of it a little bit and then more recently he's picked up his form again. But I've never seen Sancho do anything good for England. Obviously I don't watch the German league that much, I'll admit that, so he could be fantastic in the German league, but I can't judge that, and I think from what I've seen from him at international level, he's not good enough to start for me. We'll see in a minute whether he's in the squad. So that's Mason Mount's spot there. He obviously, Sterling's had an off season as well, so yeah, that's why we've gone for this starting 11. Onto the squad players now. Now, the goalkeepers, as we spoke about before, Pope was one of the other options, and Dean Henderson is the other one I've gone for. Sam Johnson's stats are skewed by him playing for West Brom and facing probably the most shots in the Premier League this season. So he is a very good shot stopper, yes, but would he make that many saves for a better team? Maybe not. But for me, it's Dean Henderson. He's been playing consistently for Manchester United, who are second in the league, so he's got to be in there and as third choice, and Nick Pope as second choice. For defenders, we've got Chilwell. It's obvious he's the best backup left back that we have. He's really the only other choice at left back that we can bring in there. But I think if he did come in, he'd do a very good job. He's very capable going forward and defending. So yeah, Ben Chilwell for me. We spoke about Trent Alexander-Arnold before and the reasons why he's not in the starting 11, but he is going to be in the squad, and I think I'd definitely take him on the plane. Now a couple that might raise a few eyebrows actually, Ben Godfrey and Tyrone Mings. Tyrone Mings is he's older than Godfrey and he's a little bit more experienced. He's quite a good leader. And I think James Alcott talked about the type of players you want to have in an international team. He's talked about teams from years gone by, and it's about having captains in your teams, absolute leaders, people who inspire each other. And I think Tyrone Mings, when you watch him, he is constantly shouting, he's constantly handing out instructions. And I think if we were to lose a big player like Harry Maguire or John Stones at the back, I think Tyrone Mings would be the one to step in there, given his experience and his leadership qualities. Ben Godfrey is a little bit of I wouldn't say it's a gamble, but he is young, but he's very good on the ball. He's impressed me this season for Everton. And I think he definitely deserves a spot on that plane, to be honest, given the season that he's had. He's not necessarily likely to start. He's probably the 4th, 5th choice centre-back in this squad. But I think he would do a good job if it was called upon, based on injuries and stuff. Okay, so midfielders, Jude Bellingham, another one that is a very young player, but has shown that he's very versatile. I think what you need in these squads, and we talked about this with Kyle Walker and Reece James, is about versatility. I think in an international squad, when you do get injuries in a tournament, it's not like you can bring in loads of extra players. You have to just use what you've got, and I think versatility is a very good attribute to have, and Jude Bellingham has that. I feel he can defend. He could play in a number 4 role, a defensive midfield. He could play in a centre midfield, like a box to box number 8, and he can play in attacking midfield as well. So I think he almost adds a little bit of a different dynamic to some of the midfielders we do have. So, like I say, with Ben Godfrey, he's young and he'd probably be a 3rd or 4th choice, but he is in there. Jordan Henderson, the reason he doesn't start is literally because he's been injured, and we don't know whether he will be fit enough for the Euros. But I think you still take him based on his leadership qualities. He's led Liverpool to a Premier League and a Champions League. We know his leadership qualities. It's tried and tested. He's proven time and time again that he's a very good player. So I would take him for his leadership qualities, and I think by that time maybe he's returning from injury, and you wouldn't want to start him, but you definitely want him there for the morale in the changing rooms. And I think he will play throughout the Euros if he recovers. James Ward-Prowse. Now James Ward-Prowse was actually my very last pick in this 26-man squad. I could have gone for, to be honest, it was a choice between him, Bukayo Saka, and Jesse Lingard. But I just felt that we needed another central midfielder with the capability to defend and to offer something different. James Ward-Prowse obviously offers his amazing set-piece delivery, and I know that we've got that with some other players, but I just feel that James Ward-Prowse, that's a very good string to his bow, and he, like I say, he can defend and attack. So I think I think that's why I've picked him. Although he's the one that I was sort of iffy on. As I've said, he was my 26th pick. Forwards, Jack Grealish. It's undeniable how good he is. It's only a matter of time before he cements his starting position. But like I said before, interchangeable between him, Foden and Rashford, who we've got next to him there. They're all fantastic players, and they could all start up there. Grealish and Foden more with their dribbling, Rashford with his driving runs and his pace. I think they're all good options for there. Sancho, we've discussed, he's in the squad just because he's the other best option that we've got on the right hand side, other than Raheem Sterling, who we've also spoken about, who's not had a fantastic season, but you have to take him just because he can offer that moment of brilliance. He's got his pace in behind, and sometimes he does come up with very good vital goals. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he has to go based on his contribution this season. I think he's 3rd. I think he might be joint top scorer. Joint 2nd highest goals for English players this season in the Premier League, and alongside Patrick Bamford, who've both scored 16. So I think Calvert-Lewin has to go. He offers something similar to Kane in that he's very good in the air, but I think Calvert-Lewin's actually better in the air than Kane, and a bit stronger, but Kane's finishing is better. Down to the last two, and these two are very contentious decisions. If you're not a Leeds fan, if you've come from another channel and you're looking to this squad as a bit of a random one that you've clicked on, I will justify now why Jack Harrison and Patrick Bamford are in this squad. Let's go for Patrick Bamford first. He's been consistently underrated for years. Last season, everybody said he wasn't good enough to win the championship. He did that. He scored 15 goals, 14 goals, and he could have scored a lot more. But it's not just that. He offers us something a little bit different. He offers that high work rate, the pressing. He knows how to press. He knows how to force errors. And he knows how to finish as well. He knows where the back of the net is. He scored 16 goals this season alongside Calvert-Lewin. That's the second highest goal scoring tally in the Premier League this season for English players, I should specify. But like I say, he's left-footed as well, which is a bit different from Kane and Calvert-Lewin. So that offers something a little bit different for defenders to think about if you want to bring him on late on. And they're used to have been trying to push Harry Kane onto his left foot. Bamford was stronger on his left foot, and he likes to spin off the shoulder and run in behind, and his pace is actually underrated, I think. So yeah, that's why we've gone for Patrick Bamford. His assists and goals this season have been excellent, and that's why he's in there. Jack Harrison is a very outside shout, and I don't think many of people are thinking of him for the squad. I don't think he'll get taken, but I think he should, based on the fact that he offers something that's really different to what we have in our other wingers. So a lot of our other wingers are inverted wingers, and the modern winger tends to be inverted nowadays. And if you don't know what that means, it means that a left-footed player would play on the right-hand side so they can cut in and shoot a goal, and vice versa on the left with a right-footed player. Jack Harrison is left-footed and plays on the left-hand side like a traditional winger. And what he offers that is different is that he keeps his width and he whips balls into the box all day long. And I know you'll say that you've got Luke Shaw in this team for that. But if you've ever watched Leeds, Jack Harrison a lot of the time picks up the ball on the edge of the box on the left-hand side between the box and the touchline. And Alioski, our left-back, overlaps him and then crosses the ball in, or overlaps him, draws a runner, opens a space for the cross to go in. So I think with an overlapping or an underlapping from Luke Shaw behind him, that could actually work really well. Luke Shaw or Ben Chilwell. But yeah, he's good at finishing. He's got 8 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League this season, which is the most for an English midfielder. And his crossing is absolutely excellent. His delivery, his shooting is good as well. If you saw that goal against Newcastle where he shot from about 25-30 yards out and it went in the top corner as well. Yeah, he's an excellent option because, like I say, he offers something different. He's a traditional out wide, whip the ball in the box winger. And Harry Kane and Calvert-Lewin on the end of those headers, then that could be a recipe for success, to be honest. That is actually going to be it for this video. That's my 26-man squad. Like I said, if you disagree with any of that, then comment down below and we'll chat it out in the comments, or I'll address it in a future video. There's going to be a reaction to the West Brom Leeds game tomorrow where Pablo Hernandez says his farewells and so does Gaetano Berardi. Hopefully there's some sort of testimonial for those two because they deserve it after their contribution to our club. They've been absolutely excellent over the years, and we don't get promoted without Pablo Hernandez's goals and assists towards the end of last season. He was that magic man. So yeah, they'll be sorely missed. There's actually an article on the Leeds Lately website about Gaetano Berardi's his commitment to Leeds United through his extension of his contract at the end of last season. If you don't know about that and you're not a Leeds fan, he ruptured his ACL after extending his contract for 2 months because the season was delayed, and a lot of players decided that they were going to sit it out and not play really, so that they didn't risk injuring themselves if they wanted to make a move to another club. But he made that decision, signed a 2-month contract, and the worst happened. One of the worst injuries in football. So I talk about that on there, and then we also include his goodbye message to the fans that he sent to the square ball to distribute. So that's going to be it for this one. Like I said, I put quite a lot of effort into the graphics and stuff for this video. So if you do want to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And I'll see you after the West Brom game.